Today's lesson is called Counterfeit Medicine Kills Thousands, Puts Millions at Risk. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
I am Roger. Today we're going to talk about medicine or drugs that you may be taking for particular ailments that you may be suffering from. But you know something, there is a thing called counterfeit medicine or fake medicine that you have to be aware of, because if you take that kind of medicine, it could do more harm than good.
There you go, counterfeit medicine. Now, I had heard of counterfeit money, fake money. People take a real dollar bill, let's say, and they copy it, and they produce fake copies of that money. This fake money is called counterfeit money. I had no idea that people could counterfeit other things like medicine, and this is scary to me because it says here that this counterfeit medicine is killing a lot of people. Yes, the title of the article says, Counterfeit Medicine Kills Thousands, Puts Millions at Risk. And by the way, this does remind me of something that happened right after World War II. People weren't making counterfeit medicine, I don't think, but antibiotics were in short supply after World War II, and people started diluting those antibiotics because they were in high demand, so they could sell as much of these antibiotics as possible. And this resulted in a lot of death because people thought that they were getting the right medicine and they weren't. Instead, they were getting a diluted version of their medicine. It was a terrible, terrible catastrophe. But here, we're not talking about diluted medicine that isn't as strong as it should be. We're talking about fake, counterfeit medicine. How scary. Anyways, folks, with that, let's go ahead and take a break. But when we come back, we'll start reading our article on fake drugs.
Counterfeit medicine kills thousands, puts millions at risk. According to a report by the World Health Organization, WHO, about 10% of the medicine sold in the developing world is either substandard or fake, putting millions at risk of further suffering or even death. Counterfeit medicine is found all over the world, and every year it causes the deaths of tens of thousands of children alone. Such medicine is frequently sold in the guise of well-known products, which in fact were not produced by the genuine pharmaceutical companies. The resulting drugs often do not have the right amount of active ingredients, and some are just powdered chalk.
大家好，第一部分我们看到一个形容词 counterfeit， 指假冒的、仿造的。例如 Anyone trying to enter the stadium with counterfeit concert tickets will be reported to the police. 任何试图以伪造的演唱会门票进入会场的人，皆会被通报给警方。再来，我们看到单字 genuine， 这个字为形容词，指真正的、非伪造的。像是 Doris could easily tell the difference between genuine and fake designer bags. Doris 能轻易分辨出设计师名牌包真品和赝品的差异。
Okay, so again, we've got the word counterfeit in the title here, and as you said earlier, counterfeit is often used to describe fake money. Many stores are worried about receiving counterfeit money, so they scan your money after you pay for something. They've got a special machine or something like that where they try to determine whether your money is real or not. But in this particular case, we're talking about fake medicine or counterfeit medicine, and it's killing thousands of people and putting lots of people at risk, or making things risky or dangerous for millions of other people. So here in the first paragraph, it says, according to a report by the World Health Organization, or WHO for short, about 10% of the medicine sold in the developing world is either substandard or fake, putting millions at risk of further suffering or even death. So again, this is a report by the World Health Organization, and according to that report, about 10% of the medicine sold in the developing world is substandard, fake, or whatever. So here we've got the word substandard. That just means below standard.
Yeah, during the introduction, I talked about those diluted antibiotics, okay? People thought they were getting a full dose of antibiotics, but instead there was antibiotics and a bunch of filler that didn't really do anything to help these people, so that medicine wasn't as effective as it should have been. And that's why a lot of people were dying due to these bad antibiotics after World War II. These drugs were substandard. And here it says 10% of the medicine sold in the developing world is either substandard or totally fake. So that counterfeit medicine, it's totally fake, but you can also say that substandard medicine is also a problem. It poses a big problem. Get this, it's putting millions of people at risk for further suffering or even death. People could suffer or die unnecessarily because of these bad drugs.
Indeed, it's putting people at risk of suffering or even dying. Now, counterfeit medicine is found all over the world, and every year it causes the deaths of tens of thousands of children alone. So we should be pretty safe here in Taiwan. We're not really a developing country here, but this article does say that it happens all over the world, so we still need to watch out for this stuff. And it causes the deaths of tens of thousands of children. So tens of thousands. That just basically means anywhere from 20,000 to 90,000. It could be 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 in the tens there. And that's a lot of kids. And we've also got alone, which means just if we're talking about the kids, we're not even mentioning the adults or maybe even pets.
Yeah, here's just one example, and there are others. And here, this is a very, very strong example. Many thousands of children are going to die because of this stuff. If that doesn't pull your heartstrings, I don't know if anything can pull your heartstrings. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on here. The next sentence says, such medicine is frequently sold in the guise of well-known products, which in fact were not produced by the genuine pharmaceutical companies. By the way, when you get a vaccine here in Taiwan, something they do that's great, that I really like, is they show you the medicine and the stamp of the manufacturer before you get that vaccine. Whenever my daughter gets a shot, the nurse always shows us that medicine bottle with the official stamp of that pharmaceutical company on it. Now, in the developing world, maybe they show you that bottle, but it's a fake bottle with a fake stamp. It'll be a counterfeit stamp. Anyways, let's move back to the beginning of this sentence. It says that this bad medicine is frequently sold in the guise of something. And here we have this phrase, in the guise of. Here, in the guise of kind of means disguised as. So when these medicines, they're being sold, people say or they act as though these drugs are the real deal. They act as though these drugs are well known or famous or made by a good manufacturer, when this is actually not the case. Now, we've got this phrase, in the guise of. I've also heard the phrase under the guise of. These two phrases mean about the same thing. Anyways, how about an example sentence? You could say, he proceeded to search the premises in the guise of a police officer.
So in any case here, yes, indeed, some of these drugs is frequently sold. Some of these drugs are frequently sold in the guise of well-known products. You could also just say as. They're sold as well-known products with fake packaging or whatever. And these, in fact, were not produced by the genuine pharmaceutical companies. Okay, so pharmaceutical here just means having to do with drugs. Pfizer is a famous pharmaceutical company in the world. And here, genuine just means real, not fake. It's what they say it is. So, which in fact, they're not produced by the genuine pharmaceutical companies. They were produced by some factory in some third world country somewhere.
Gosh, this is all really scary to me. It reminds me of this thing in World War II over and over again. And yes, this thing in World War II, it happened in Eastern Europe. It was quite a disaster. It's not well reported, but it was such a disaster, and it's still happening. Children are suffering, people are suffering, and they don't need to. People just need to stop making these counterfeit drugs. Anyways, yes, it says these medicines, they're sold, they're disguised as being good products, but they're not good products. Get this, the resulting drugs often do not have the right amount of active ingredients, and some are just powdered chalk. So those counterfeit drugs, if they're totally fake, sometimes they're just made up of powdered chalk, which can't cure anything. Maybe it could cure some heartburn or something like that, but outside of that, it's going to have no medical use at all. So you're eating a drug, or you think you're taking a drug, but it's not going to help you at all. Now, those are the totally counterfeited drugs. They're made of powdered chalk or just something that's not going to help you out at all. Then there are the substandard drugs, the diluted drugs and things like that. They're not going to have the right amount of active ingredients.
Right, working ingredients, things in the medicine that actually try to help you with whatever problem you have. Ingredients, of course, are the things in a particular product that make up the whole, okay? You have different ingredients, of course. When you buy food at the supermarket, there's a label there of the ingredients, what it has: flour, it has sugar, it has salt, it has oil, etc. Those are the ingredients of a product that you can buy at the supermarket. But here we have ingredients in medication, the actual active ingredients that actually try to solve your problems. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part.
The most common fake drugs found were those that treat malaria or bacterial infections. The report suggests that up to 65% of counterfeit medicine targets this market. It is estimated that tens of billions of dollars are spent on fake pills across the globe annually. In some places, people buy the cheaper counterfeit drugs because they cannot afford the real thing.
第二部分我们看到一个单字 estimate， 课文中做动词使用有预估或估计之意。例如 Phil estimated that the trip would cost more than he could afford. Phil 估计这趟旅行花的钱会超过他能负担的额度。而这个字除了可以当动词，还可以当名词使用。当名词时念作 estimate。我们可以说 Before the workers start painting your house, you have to accept their price estimate first. 在工人们开始粉刷你家前，你必须接受他们的价格预估。
All right, folks, let's go ahead and move on to the second part of today's lesson. The most common fake drugs found were those that treat malaria or bacterial infections. And anyways, let's talk about the word infection here. An infection is kind of like a disease. It can be caused by a virus or by a bacteria. You could say Dawn has an ear infection, okay? Now also, the word infection can also refer to the state of being sick or ill or of being infected by something like a disease or, I don't know, a parasite or something like that. For example, in this situation, you'd say viral infections are common this time of year. A lot of people get the flu or get the cold this time of year.
And, of course, the verb is to infect. And you could say, hey, that might get infected, so you better wash your hands. Now, the report suggests that up to 65% of counterfeit medicine targets this market. So that's a lot. You got to watch out for that. That's the market that they're trying to get into. 65% of that counterfeit medicine. Okay, moving on now. It says it is estimated that tens of billions of dollars are spent on fake pills across the globe annually. So it is estimated. That is from the verb to estimate. That just means you kind of try to figure out what the number is without enough information. You need to estimate the number. Estimates is the noun, and estimate is the verb.
It is estimated that tens of billions of dollars are spent on fake pills across the globe, which means this is happening all over the world. Yes, here we have the word globe, and here we mean the world or our planet. So if something is happening across the globe, it's happening everywhere. It's happening all over planet Earth. Though, yes, the fake pills, usually these things are being sold in developing countries and not in the developed world. Now, more on the word globe. A globe is also a miniaturized representation of planet Earth that looks like a ball that is covered with a map of planet Earth. You can use it when you're studying geography. Anyways, the next sentence says, in some places, people buy the cheaper counterfeit drugs because they cannot afford the real thing. So yes, these people need these drugs. There's demand. And yes, bad people, they step in and they service this demand. They sell cheap drugs, but these are also counterfeit drugs. So people are buying them. They think they're getting the real deal, but they are in fact not getting the real deal. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on fake drugs.
To deal with this problem, the WHO is calling on governments to use its global drug monitoring system. Countries need to assess the extent of the problem at home and cooperate regionally and globally to prevent the traffic of these products and improve detection and response, a representative of the organization said.
第三部分我们看到一个单字 monitor， 在课文中做动词使用，指监督或监测。像是 While Paul had survived a sudden heart attack, his doctors insisted on monitoring him in the hospital for a few more days. 尽管 Paul 突然心脏病发作后安然无事，他的医生还是坚持要他在医院多观察几天。另外 monitor 也可以当名词使用，指萤幕或显示器。我们可以说 There are many monitors inside the airport that show the latest flight information. 机场内有许多萤幕来显示最新的航班资讯。接着我们看到动词 assess 用来指评估、考察。例如The insurance adjuster assessed the damage to Nelson's car. 保险理赔员评估了 Nelson 车子受损情形。而在 assess 的字尾加上 ment 则可以成为它的名词 assessment。所以我们可以说 We need to conduct risk assessment before we go ahead with this project. 在我们开始这个计划之前，必须实施风险评估。再来我们看到一个单字 cooperate，这个字是动词，有合作之意。举例来说 We need to cooperate if we want to finish this project on time. 如果我们想如期完成这项计划，就必须合作。另外补充 cooperate 的名词 cooperation C-O-O-P-E-R-A-T-I-O-N cooperation. 举例来说 It was the perfect cooperation that made the underdogs win the game at the last minute.是完美的合作，让不被看好的队伍在最后一刻赢得比赛。最后我们看到名词 detection， 指侦查、检测，像是 Early detection of the disease allowed the man to get medicine in time to save his life. 早期发觉疾病，使得那男人及时得到药物治疗，以保住一命。而 detection 去除字尾的 ion 则可以成为它的动词 detect。所以我们可以说Ruben detected that Heidi wasn't being truthful from the tone of her voice. Ruben 从 Heidi 的语调中察觉到她并没有说实话。
Okay, what is being done about this problem of counterfeit medicine? Well, to deal with this problem, to handle this problem, the WHO is calling on governments to use its global drug monitoring system. So they're kind of asking governments to do this. They're calling on them to do this. They want to use the drug monitoring system that's all over the world. So here we've got monitoring, which is from, of course, the verb to monitor, which means to kind of supervise something, to check on something.
There you go. Countries need to assess the extent of the problem at home and cooperate regionally and globally to prevent the traffic of these products and improve detection and response, a representative of the organization said. Wow, that is a mouthful. Countries need to assess the extent of the problem. That is, these countries need to figure out just how bad this problem is or the degree to which this problem has spread. And I know this because we're using the word extent here. And speaking of the word extent, here's a good example sentence. You could say, we won't know the extent of the damage until morning.
Yes, after the typhoon passes, then we'll know the extent of the damage. You could just simply say the size of the problem. That's very similar. They need to figure out how big the problem is in their own countries at home and then cooperate regionally with the, neighboring countries like the United States would have to cooperate or work together with Canada or Mexico, etc. And they would also have to cooperate globally all over the world to prevent the traffic of these products. Traffic here is the noun. It just refers to the products moving all over the world, traffic. And they need to improve detection and response. A representative of the organization said. Detection, that's from the verb to detect. They just mean to be able to find these things, to see that they're passing through.
There you go. All right, folks, with that, it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher, so stay tuned.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。好，这篇文章是关于假药造成的问题。那标题里面有一个补充单字叫 counterfeit， 我们来学习它的字首字根。好，前面这个 counter C-O-U-N-T-E-R 这个字首它表示相反的或是与什么相对的，那它也有互补的相对应或是复制的语义。好，那么字根 F-E-I-T 这个字呢表示制作。同学们可以试着联想当你复制某个东西去做出相对应的产品，这样应该可以想到 counterfeit 它有假冒仿造的语义吧。好，那它当动词就表示非法去仿冒真品，通常就是指大量生产仿制品，像是纸钞票券邮票等等的。那这个字当形容词就表示假冒的伪造的。好，像文中的 counterfeit medicine 就表示假药。那我们再顺便学几个也有字首 counter 的单字。第一个是 counteract C-O-U-N-T-E-R-A-C-T 好，那它的字首 counter 有对立的意思，那么 A-C-T act 它表示行动作用，对立的行动，这样应该可以联想到 counteract 它有抵消对抗的意思吧。好，那么第二个单字叫 counterclockwise counterclockwise 它是拼作 C-O-U-N-T-E-R 然后搭配 clock 时钟，最后面再加上 W-I-S-E。 好，那我们知道 clock 是时钟嘛，那它字尾 W-I-S-E 这是副词字尾去表达以什么样的方式，把这两部分组合在一起 clockwise 就表示顺时针方向的，然后你接着在 clockwise 前面加上字首 counter 表示相反的，顺时针的相反那就是逆时针咯，所以 counterclockwise 就表示逆时针方向的。好，那第三个单字 counterpart它的字首 counter 表示相对应的，那么 part 我们知道有部分的意思，那在这边表示一方。好，那相对应的一方就是用来表达对应的人或是事物。 counterpart 这个字呢常常用来指跟你前面叙述相对应的人或是事物，假设你前面是提到某部电影的女主角，然后接着就可以用 her male counterpart 对应的男性，那就是用来指男主角咯。好，那我们的课文一开始提到说 According to a report by the World Health Organization, WHO, about 10% of the medicine sold in the developing world is either substandard or fake. 根据世界卫生组织的报告呢，在开发中国家贩售的药物大约有 10% 不是不合标准就是假药。好，那句子里面的 substandard 它的字首 SUB 它有低于少于或是在什么什么以下的意思，那 standard 是标准规范，所以 substandard低于标准在标准之下，那就是用来表达不符合标准的或是不合格的。那课文是用 either substandard or fake 来表达不是不合标准就是假药。那我们顺便学一下 either A or B 或是 either A or B 表示不是 A 就是 B， 那它是配对连接词，必须去连接对等的字词或是句子，像是 I can't remember his name, it's either Gavin or Greg。 诶，我不记得他的名字诶，要么就是 Gavin， 要么就是 Greg。好，那特别注意一下哦，如果我们用 either A or B 来连接主词的时候，这个动词就必须配合最靠近的主词，也就是要配合 B 那个主词，要跟它一致。例如 either Sarah or I am going to pick you up tomorrow。明天不是 Sarah 去接你，就是我会去接你。那例句里面最靠近动词的主词是 I， 所以后面我们搭配的是 be 动词 am。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Genuine. The court questioned whether the documents were genuine. Ingredient. Please make a list of all the ingredients we need before we go to the store later. Infection. The infection started as a normal cold, but then it spread to the patient's lungs. Estimate. Experts estimate that the diamond industry produces about $13 billion worth of uncut diamonds each year. Globe. The chain store has become so popular that it now has locations across the globe. Monitor. The police closely monitor the area because of its high crime rate. Extent. Authorities are investigating to determine the extent of the damage. Cooperate. Several countries are cooperating in order to stop the spread of the disease.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Okay, it's time for our discussion starter. What are some of the dangers of counterfeit medicine?
Counterfeit medicine especially harms children, especially very young children, because very young children like babies and infants and stuff like that don't have well-developed immune systems. So if they don't get the right medicine, if they take a counterfeit medicine, a disease could kill them. Some other person who's older might survive that disease, whereas an infant won't have the ability to do so.
You're spot on there, Jeff. Well, I would say that counterfeit medicine puts the elderly at risk because as we get older, of course, we get sicker and we need to take more medications, and there's always the possibility that someone will try to make money from us by selling us fake drugs. Those people are really shameless.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.